Welcome to this premium explainer breaking down the PA6 and PA66 nylon weekly report for the first week of August 2026. Look, we're seeing a really fascinating divergence in the markets this week, so let's just skip the fluff and jump right into the numbers, the shifts, and exactly what this means for your procurement strategy.
You know, here at Polymer Bazaar, everything we do boils down to three things: price, prediction, and profit. And in this explainer, we're going to hit all three. We're diving straight into global movements, feedstock pricing, and future trends to really empower your buying decisions. Because honestly, having the right data at the exact right moment, that's your competitive edge right there.
So, what are the overarching macro trends driving the market right now? Specifically, how are these global feedstock shifts actually impacting your nylon procurement strategy this week? Well, to figure that out, we really have to start with the raw materials, since they're the dominoes that set off all the ripple effects we're seeing across different continents. Let's start by establishing our baseline over in China. Right now, things are holding pretty steady. Caprolactam is sitting right at 12,200 RMB per metric ton, and adipic acid is hovering at 8,400 RMB. So why are we looking at this? Well, keeping an eye on this stable Chinese baseline actually makes the downward momentum we're about to see in the Western markets stand out that much more. It's the perfect context for what's happening globally.
And here is where things get really interesting. We are seeing a very clear downward trend across both the US and Europe. Over in the US, dull demand is just dragging upstream prices down. PA6 fell 5 cents to 130 cents a pound, and PA66 dropped 8 cents down to 170 cents a pound. And Europe? Pretty much the exact same story. Weak demand combined with cheaper import landed costs pulled PA6 down by a solid €100, landing at 2,100 per metric ton DDP NWE. PA66 also eased up a bit, dropping €10 to 2,790. It's a shift heavily driven by abundant feedstock supplies.
So this creates a really stark global divergence. On a global scale, we're talking the US, Europe, and China, we are seeing overwhelmingly dull demand. Buyers are strictly purchasing on a need-to basis. There's no rush, right? Converters are literally only buying what they absolutely need to keep the lights on for immediate production. But then you look at India, and there's a complete plot twist. The market there is entirely defined by tight availability. It's this localized bottleneck that means if you're buying in that region, you need a completely different playbook.
Section: Instant Market Intelligence via our AI chatbot. Now, before we look closely at those localized Indian spot prices, let me show you how to pull this data instantly.
You can actually bypass the wait entirely and pull these insights straight to your phone. It's super easy. Step 1, just save the number +91 93746 24365 to your contacts. Step 2, open WhatsApp and just shoot us a message with the word prediction. Step 3, you'll get a highly detailed AI-powered report sent back to you in literally 5 seconds. I mean, it takes longer to pour your morning coffee. It is an incredibly handy tool for getting a real-time market pulse right when you need it most.
Okay, next section: Indian Bazaar highlights and spot prices. Let's actually look at the local data that's building the case for our strategic purchase recommendation this week. If we're going to navigate this localized pricing structure, we need the hard numbers. Looking at import-grade spot prices, XGST Mumbai is seeing Nylon 6 sitting between 218 and 220 rupees per kg, while Nylon 66 is quoted between 330 and 332 rupees per kg. Over in Delhi, things are just slightly higher. Nylon 6 is at 222 to 225 rupees per kg, and Nylon 66 is running between 335 and 338. These are the critical metrics you absolutely need to factor into your spreadsheets this week.
So, what's the actual buying pulse behind those numbers? Well, despite that weak downstream demand we talked about globally, the Indian nylon bazaar is maintaining a slightly firm tone. And the culprit? It's simply the limited availability of spot grades. That tightness is keeping market sentiment supported. So even though buying is modest and very strictly need-based, everyone in the market is actively bracing for some marginal price movements in the near term simply because spot material just isn't there to flood the market.
And that data leads us directly to our expert purchase opinion. Listen, because availability tightness in the spot bazaar could very easily trigger higher open bazaar prices, our conclusion is crystal clear. We highly suggest buying at current levels. This is definitely not a wait-and-see kind of moment. If you're operating in this market, you really want to secure your materials before that localized spot tightness turns into a serious price spike in the broader open bazaar.
If you are ready to secure your materials before the market turns, you're going to want a direct line to the experts.
You can connect with our dedicated relationship managers for all your domestic buying and selling leads across India for engineering plastics, PA6 and PA66. Just call or WhatsApp the RM team right now at +913 93138 24365 or +913 93754 24365. Having a knowledgeable guide to navigate the spot tightness is honestly invaluable for protecting your bottom line.
If this explainer brought you some value today and helped make sense of these complex PA6 and PA66 markets, please go ahead and like and share it with your industry network. Also, make sure you hit subscribe and ring that bell icon so you never miss a real-time update. These markets move fast, and we want you to be the very first to know when they do. And of course, for the full, deep-dive PDF reports, just head straight over to PolymerBazaar.com.
I'm going to leave you with this final thought to chew on for your strategy this week. Are you positioned to secure the best possible procurement prices before that localized spot tightness drives the open bazaar higher? Take a hard look at your inventory, weigh it against your immediate needs, and make the call. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and we'll catch you in the next update.